Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm a student here at UNCP, and my goal today is to tell you about smoking. Now, I want to cover three main points. For starters, I want to talk about some numbers. We're going to go over data from the CDC that talks about smoking. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the effects of smoking on one's health. I want to discuss things like how it affects your heart and your lungs. But not only that, how does it affect the ones around you, even the younger? And lastly, I want to discuss how you can quit smoking. Different strategies, techniques, tips, things that you may not have known before that can help you and aid the process in quitting. So, to start off, let's go over some data from the CDC. The CDC states that 16 million Americans live with diseases caused by smoking. Not only that, but 480,000 individuals die every year due to diseases caused by smoking. Now, on top of that, 9 out of 10 lung cancer deaths were caused by smoking. COPD, 80% of the cases, smoking. And to top it off, diabetes type 2, which you may not necessarily think involves smoking, but smoking increases your chances of getting diabetes type 2 by 40%. Now, from these facts, it's easy to see that smoking is serious, and many people already know that. This has such a negative effect on your health. But to better understand the negatives, aside from just looking at the numbers, you gotta look at how it affects the body's systems. How does it affect the heart? How does it affect the lungs? To get a better understanding of why the diseases happen in the first place. So we're gonna start with the heart. Smoking causes your blood vessels to constrict. It causes them to thicken and causes them to degrade over time. These smaller blood vessels means that the heart has to pump harder and faster to get that blood through, and that raises your blood pressure. Not only that, but that does cause an increased risk for clots, and these clots can travel to your arms, they can travel to your legs, and worst of all, they could travel to your brain, causing a stroke. Now, not only is the heart affected, but the lung is affected as well. And we know this. You can look at this picture here and you can see the differences between a non-smoker and a smoker's lung. Now, the smoker's lung, over time, as the smoke is inhaled, that lung tissue gets damaged more and more. The tar and the other chemicals hurt it. And this damaged tissue has a difficult time transporting the oxygen and expelling the CO2. And that will start to affect daily life. Things that normally would be easy, walking the block, extended shopping trips, climbing up and down stairs, you may find yourself more and more out of breath as the years pass because more and more of your lung is getting damaged. And that is something to keep in mind, and it's why it's so important to quit as soon as you can to help preserve and regain some of that lung function. And some people say, well, smoking only affects me. It doesn't affect anybody else around me. But that is simply not true. Since 1964, 2.5 million people have died from secondhand smoke alone. And those heart diseases I mentioned earlier, the tightening of the vessels and the high blood pressure, well, that affects those who have secondhand smoke. 34,000 people between 2005 and 2009 have passed away from secondhand smoke alone. And during those same years, 7,300 people passed away from lung cancer, again, only from secondhand smoke. So what about children and younger individuals? Well, they suffer the same increased risks from asthma and other respiratory conditions. They have an increased risk of ear infections, of lung infections, all just because they're exposed to secondhand smoke. And that heart diseases and other things infects them too. Now, when you hear all this information, it's understandable to be overwhelmed or frightened, or how do I start from here? I want to quit, but I don't know where to go. The design of smoking, the cigarettes and everything, it's meant to be addictive. The nicotine affects the body in such a way that makes you crave more and want more. That's why quitting is so difficult. But there are ways to help quit and wean off. First off, your primary care provider can provide different drug regimens that help reduce those cravings. And from there, we can go to nicotine patches and we can go to nicotine gum. This also helps reduce those cravings, those urges to keep smoking. But not only that, it's important to keep a couple separate things in mind. One, smoking can be used as a coping mechanism. It can be used as a way to kind of handle the stresses of life. So it's important, if need be, to evaluate where you are, evaluate how your life is going. If you can change or if you can manage certain stresses, you'll be better equipped to help quit. Not only that, but a really good support system is key. Having family, friends, and other loved ones, and even other people that are trying to quit, all work together with you is very important. It's hard enough to quit, and to do it alone is even worse so. So having that support system will get you better prepared and better on your way to quit. And with that proper foundation, you can move on forward. And again, you can use those different methods like we said with the gum and the patches, and then talking to your primary care provider. And lastly, this modern age of technology hosts a whole other wide array of different techniques and tools that you can use. You can use apps on the phone these days that track, how often you smoke and can calculate the cost of the different packs of smoke. It'll keep a running tab and it will let you know how much money you're saving when you don't smoke. And as that total increases, it helps keep you motivated knowing that you're quitting because you're saving money and you're improving your health. It just gives you something tangible to look at and to see how it's affecting your life. So then this brings us to the conclusion. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about how smoking affects your life. We talked about how it affects those around you, your heart, your lungs, and in different aspects. It's important that you quit, and it's important to know that it's never too late to do so, because when you do quit, the health benefits are near immediate. And let's go ahead and talk about that too. Let's go ahead and talk about how your health can be benefited by quitting. So some of the negative aspects of smoking are either reversed or lessened. 2.5 years after stop smoking, your risk of strokes drops down to the levels of someone who isn't a smoker. Not only that, but 10 years of no smoking and your risk of dying from lung cancer is cut in half. And these are very important things because it shows that no matter when you start, there are benefits from it. Your heart attack risk, for example, dramatically falls after just 1 year of not smoking. So again, it is important to know that you can quit at any time and, rely on others. Talk to your primary care provider. Find different ways. There is tons of research out there and tons of material to go through that can help you quit. A lot of the information from this was pulled from the cdc.gov website. Go there and in the search bar you can type in smoking and it will pull up phone numbers, counseling options, and a lot of information that can help steer you on the right path. And this concludes my presentation. I hope that you got some valuable information out of it. Even if you're not a smoker, hopefully it can help someone that you know, family, friends, loved ones, and we can all strive towards a better, healthier, and happier future. Thank you so much.